When we look at the Grand State House in Entebbe, we see the seat of Ugandan power. We see our elected leaders, our national flag, and the symbols of a sovereign nation. Who really controls Uganda? Is it the people who cast their votes or unseen hands reaching across oceans from Washington, London, Paris? The truth is more complex and unsettling. Decisions in our capital are often shaped not by Ugandans' needs, but by strategic interests and economic demands of powerful Western nations who treat Africa like a chessboard. This dynamic isn't unique to Uganda, it echoes across Africa. From the Sahel to the Cape, many leaders walk a treacherous tightrope. On one side lies the will of the people, development, dignity, true self-determination. On the other are expectations of Western governments and the multinational corporations they back. But it's never a gift. It comes with strings attached, ensuring access to resources and alignment with global agendas. For an African leader, defying the unspoken rules set by Western powers is not merely a political gamble, it can be a death sentence. The choice presented is stark and brutal: cooperate with their agenda or face removal. It might begin with a well-funded and organized opposition movement, amplified by Western media narratives painted as a tyrant, painted as a corrupt despot. It can escalate to crippling economic sanctions that starve the nation and turn the population against its government. But when these subtler methods fail, history shows us that the West has not hesitated to use political assassination, orchestrated coups. The most tragic example is the fate of Patrice Lumumba, the first democratically elected Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Lumumba was a charismatic Pan-Africanist who dreamed of a truly independent Congo. He declared that Congo's resources were for the Congolese. This bold declaration threatened powerful Belgian and American corporate interests: copper, cobalt, diamonds. They could not allow a leader like Lumumba to succeed. His success would set a dangerous precedent for the rest of the continent. The response was swift and merciless. Declassified documents from the United States and Belgium reveal a coordinated plot to eliminate him. The CIA and Belgian intelligence supported and directed the Congolese forces that captured Lumumba in late 1960. In January 1961, Patrice Lumumba was brutally tortured and executed. His body was dissolved to erase traces. His assassination was not just the murder of a man, it was the murder of a nation's dream. When a defiant leader is removed, what follows is rarely peace or democracy. Instead, the ensuing power vacuum often plunges the nation into political and military chaos. This instability is often a strategic objective. A stable African nation is capable of negotiating favorable terms for its resources. A unified African nation is capable of negotiating favorable terms. A strong African nation is capable of negotiating favorable terms. It can demand fair prices. It can enforce environmental regulations. It can ensure profits are reinvested into its own economy. A fractured and war-torn country cannot. In the midst of chaos, resources become cheap and easy to plunder. Western corporations strike deals with whichever warlord controls a mine or oil field. Consider the aftermath of Lumumba's assassination in the Congo. His removal paved the way for Mobutu Sese Seko. Mobutu allowed foreign corporations unfettered access to Congo's riches. He amassed a personal fortune, leaving his country impoverished. When his regime collapsed, the nation descended into devastating wars, Africa's World War. These conflicts are fueled by global demand for minerals like coltan, mobile phones, laptops. Various armed groups fight for control of the mines. Those groups are often tacitly supported by neighboring states and international players. This ensures an unregulated flow of resources to the West. It leaves behind conflict. It leaves behind poverty. It leaves behind environmental destruction. The instability is not a failure. For those who benefit, it is the system working exactly as intended. After decades of so-called independence, we must confront a painful reality. For many African nations, political sovereignty remains a fragile and compromised ideal. The flags, the anthems, the seats at the United Nations are symbols, but they can mask a deeper bondage. True independence is not merely the absence of a colonial administrator, it is the freedom to choose one's own economic path, to control one's own natural resources, and to build a state that is accountable to its citizens, not to foreign donors or corporations. It is the power to say no without fearing a coup, sanctions, or assassination. This is the freedom for which Lumumba died, and it is a freedom that remains elusive for much of the continent. The path to achieving this true sovereignty requires a fundamental shift in the relationship between Africa and the West. It means building strong institutions, transparent institutions and democratic institutions that are resilient to external manipulation. This involves diversifying our economies away from dependence on raw material exports, a system that inherently favors the buyers. It means promoting intra-African trade and political unity, creating a powerful bloc that can negotiate from strength, not desperation. Furthermore, the citizens must become more vigilant. An informed and mobilized citizenry is the most powerful defense against neocolonialism. Will we find the courage and unity to cut those strings, to endure the inevitable backlash, and to forge a future where Africa's destiny is finally in African hands? The fight for our continent's soul continues.